This is the Athearn DCC Quick Connect light board. ESU then said, get this adapter plate and it connects to the Athearn light board. Okay, no problem. So got the adapter board, took out the dummy plug, plugged in the adapter plate. Then the idea was to put on a decoder, 21-pin Loc-Sound 5 decoder, put it on the adapter, and then you'd have a motor, and then light board, and then adapter plate, and then decoder all squished together. Somehow fits in this shell. Well, it doesn't. Even though this ESU adapter plate says it's for Athearn, yeah, that might be for 6-axle locomotives, but not 4. I mean, I can flop it this way, I can flop it that way, it doesn't much matter. I've tried every configuration you can think of, but it doesn't fit in this shell. So those of you who think, oh, I'll upgrade my Athearn GP40 to DCC sound just using the Quick Connect. Yeah, you could do that maybe with another manufacturer, but you won't be doing it with ESU. Okay, this adapter plate and the decoder do not fit. Despite what ESU says, this is not meant for a 4-axle GP40 locomotive. Maybe a 6 or something like that, but it's not meant for the 4-axle locomotive. Okay, plan B, here we go. I purchased a Decoder Buddy. Focus, there we go. Decoder Buddy Mini. I've had to build a little bit of a shelf. You can see it here from styrene. It's all glued in position. This can move no problem. Okay, you can see the flywheel can move, everything can move, no problem. You can see how close I am to the flywheel. And that's just double-sided tape. So whether I put the Decoder Buddy, you know, this way or that way, it doesn't matter, because the height of the pins is the height of the pins. I mean, that's going to be how high it is. So with the light board off, it just means I'm going to have to, you know, put in my own LEDs, my own lighting. That's fine. It's not a problem. So I had to take out the motor here, and I electrically isolated the motor, put a piece of black electrical tape across this strip on the bottom, and then I wired that black wire that's coming from the bottom of the motor to a gray wire. Then the gray wire goes to the M2 connection, and then the M1 connection, this orange wire, positive, goes to the top of the motor. So far as I'm concerned, you know, the motor's electrically isolated from the frame. That's the most important thing. And then I wired in the track leads. So we got the red coming up from this truck here, the rear truck. It goes into, what is that, track A or something like that. Comes out the same side. That red wire goes up to the other truck. And then we got the black wire coming out from that end, also from the other end, track B. And then they both black wires then come together, and they're then soldered into the frame. So there's what it looks like. I would have liked to have put the shelf back here a little bit more, but the problem is this has to swing back and forth, and I can't do that. I could have put it up here toward the front, but I kind of want this area for my sugar cube speakers. So I'll probably be building another shelf right here for those 2 speakers. And then we'll see if it works. Okay, kind of a moment of truth here. I got the decoder on the Decoder Buddy. These are just the lighting and speaker wires all connected. I can trim them back later. They're just out of the way for now. Okay, I'm in JMRI, so here goes to see if we let the smoke out. New locomotive, read type from decoder. Sounds good. Okay, it's found the decoder. Loc sound 5. We're gonna label this one as 8017. So we're gonna go into long address and change the address 8017. Oh, got an extra 0 there. There we go. And label it. And we'll hit right. And we'll hit save. Now we're going to bring up a throttle and see if it goes. Like honestly, if it picked it up on the program track in terms of like understanding what the decoder is, what the model is, you know, I say we're good to go. Okay, so we'll hit power and we'll go forward a little bit here. We'll go forward a little bit here. Uh-oh. Not good. Why is it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, we're gonna hit stop. Reverse. We're in business. So now it's just a matter of lighting and sound. So here's the completed DCC setup. I had to build these styrene shelves for the decoder and the speaker. So the speakers are wired up in parallel. So I'm just about ready to download the sound file into the locomotive. You can kind of see what's happening here. It was upgrading the decoder. So now I'm ready to put in the sound. So I'm just going to click on Write Sound Data. So this is going to take 30 minutes or so. Of course, it's got to do all the updates first, and then it'll put the sound that I downloaded from the website onto the decoder. So we have success! Okay, next step is going to be wiring in lights. Okay, I got the LEDs wired in, front and back. Let's do the other side here. There they are there. So now it's a matter of wire management and putting this thing back together. But first, the hard part, ripping out the old incandescents and fashioning new lenses. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Alright, let the fun begin. So here's pretty much the finished locomotive and what it looks like. So I'll just go in real close, you can have a look. So the sugar cube speakers here are wired in parallel with each other. The styrene shelves were necessary just to hold the speakers and the decoder. And it's a decoder buddy as well. And then the more perhaps challenging part was wiring in LEDs. So there's 4 LEDs. They're small, like surface mount LEDs. and I glued the wires down into the shell just for wire management, and so they wouldn't pull out of the bulbs or whatever, the LEDs wouldn't pull out of the cavity. A little bit of black paint as well, just to sort of stop light bleed. But here you can sort of see the lenses here, well, the LEDs poking out. I still got to go and make some headlight lenses. I'm going to do that next once I get the shell on. But yeah, it's got sound, LEDs. I had to lower the brightness of the LEDs, but it looks pretty good. Certainly better than incandescents and will last longer. I also need to change out these couplers to Katy couplers. Yeah, I could paint this black and make it look all pretty, but you're not going to see that anyway. Alright, now assembly begins. So the project's pretty much done. Here's what was taken out of the locomotive. The 4 little incandescent bulbs. Just going to go to the trash. The wire clips from the light board. The light board itself. The dummy plug. The coupler is not needed. A bit of wire. ESU adapter board. Not needed. Even though it says, you know, it's for an Athearn, it doesn't fit, as I said, a GP40. So anyways, most of that's going in the trash, and here's the final model. So the model's pretty much done. I had to make these headlight lenses right here. I mean, I don't even think the camera can zoom in that close, but anyways, I had to make the headlight lenses. A little tricky to do that, but I use a product called Bondic, and it's sort of like a plastic welder kind of thing. A little dab goes in the cavity, and then I hit it with this UV light, and it takes the shape. I mean, you can kind of almost see the lenses protruding a little bit on the back. Again, it's really hard for the camera to zoom in. I think you can see it right there. Right? It's the best I'm going to get it. It's certainly better than the incandescent bulbs. Alright, let's put it on the track. So this is the Rocky Mountaineer 8017 GP40-2. Anyone who knows anything about this model knows how extremely difficult it is to get. Basically, you can only get this model if you take the Rocky Mountaineer. It's only sold to customers who are taking the train. So when this thing pops up on eBay, a straight DC model is going for easily $400. So I got this one on the cheap. Basically, it was a no-brainer to put in DCC sound. It was kind of worth it just to upgrade the model. So here it is here. Sound. It's loud. And the light. Nice. The rear light. Hit reverse. Nice. This then completes my Rocky Mountaineer collection. All these are the Athearn release, and they all have DCC sound. So I have 6 of the coaches. I'd like one more. but it's a pretty complete consist now. That's all. We'll talk to you later.